back to Jurassic World Wildlands. Last episode we built the entrance to the park, and today we're finally creating the first dinosaur habitat. This enclosure is named the Minmi Meadows, and will be home to both the Minmi and the Pistachosaurus. The aim of this build is to make it feel like a real wildlife reserve, so you'll notice I'm trying to blend everything into the woodland rather than making it feel like a traditional zoo. Sorry, but I forgot to record the pathing, which you'll find is a common occurrence, but I'm working on it and I'm trying my best to improve this bad habit. But I did not want to make it a perfect square, so I followed the natural terrain around it. Then after, I thought I would work on the terrain in the enclosure by roughening up and smoothing over to give it some weird variety and height. Even small changes to terrain just changes the looks entirely. Now, for the most confusing and simple part, I disguised an entrance to the viewing dome as a zookeeper hut that the guests can use and the staff can also use. Because Wildlands is supposed to be a low-budget conservation park, I stayed away from modern glasses and instead went for a simple timber lodge that blends into the surrounding forest with the dark green colour. One thing I have been trying to do throughout the park is make everything look like it belongs here rather than just standing out. I want them to disappear into the landscape, such as this colour in the building. Here I thought it'd be interesting to show you guys some of my trial and error and this weird thing that happened to me. I don't know why this happened, but anyway, I thought it'd be cool to show you guys some of my trial and error, as I thought I was trying to make a big sign to say it's a zookeeper hut, stay out, but I didn't like it because I couldn't find the sort of thing I wanted, and this definitely was not it. Now looking back at it, I cannot believe that I even put that many down because that looks awful. But again, here's another showing, of me forgetting to record. I forgot to record the roof, the planting, which I like to do in all my buildings. I like to have like a planting as a trim, which you'll see quite a lot though. And also, one problem I had with the roof is I had the thing sticking out the roof from, I think the fence supposed to connect to it. So I covered that up with one side on solar panels and the other side as like kind of communication technology. As you can see there, you can see it sticking out. And I wanted to add a back part so we can actually, so the zookeepers can actually use this as a building, and they can get into the enclosure through here. Obviously the guests are not allowed here, but I thought this was quite a nice little part thing to add. I really liked it. Here we go, now we plant the foliage. I wanted the foliage to look very natural. I don't want it to be big, bright plants. So I added a lot of bushes and a lot of... I added some flowers, as you can see, but I wanted to be quite a few bushes, so it looks very natural, which I think I did very well here. I really like how the plants do. And one thing I tip is I do not even think about it when I'm placing foliage. I just do it randomly because I think if you think about it too hard, it won't look good. But that might just be a me thing. It could be a me thing. That's just how I am. If I think about it, it doesn't look natural. If I do it randomly, it'll look fine. And it looks nice in my opinion. But again, you need to go for some variation in colours, so there's at least some sort of thing to look at, because if it's just green, it blends in. So you have to kind of make some kind of variation so it looks a lot nicer. Now I'm just adding a few props around, just to not make the walls look so plain, and to make it look realistic. But I did really like the final product of this. I think the time I spent on it, which was quite a while, I think I'm really happy with how it turned out. At the start of the game, I didn't really like building that much. I didn't really like building my own buildings because it was very scary. There was too many modular pieces and too much to look for. But eventually, after hours of trying to build, I built, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. And I'm excited to build more stuff like this later in the future in the park. I'm sure you've heard this multiple times, but adding trims around your building that just pop a little bit more, make the colour stand out, and doesn't make it look so flat. Even though these ones don't really help that much, I think it just a little change. It doesn't need to be major. It's one thing I always go for, just little changes in builds. Just change the build so much. I think this is one of them. And like this, just adding like these little vents, especially to like kind of facility buildings. Adding vents just changes it, I think. And these little things in the walls just different. But now I'm going to be doing the outside bit. I won't show you this whole bit because it took me forever to find what I was looking for. But this was there's more. It took me quite a while because I had to go through all the props and find what I wanted and what I liked, what I didn't like, what I wanted in there, what I didn't want. So it took me quite a while. As you'll see now, I skipped, and you'll see. There you go, here's the final product. I'm really happy with how it is and how it blends into the habitat. Now with the zoo cart finished, it was time to add a proper viewing area. I wanted guests to feel like they were stepping into the forest itself, so I included the dome right against the tree line instead of leaving it out in the open. Hopefully all the foliage surrounding it feels like it's really part of the forest and blends it in really well. That's why I try to use wooden pieces to remove the stone, because it stands out more. Even though it's always going to stand out, I think it really helps just getting rid of that stone. And I was really happy with the final product. This one did not take me long at all for some reason. It really was quick, so no complaints from me. Anyway, onto the foliage around the park. This is probably my favourite part of the building and the enclosures. But again, I forget to press record at the start, so apologies for that. But adding rocks and fallen logs and different layers of plants is what really brings everything to life. I also left a lot of plain areas because I imagine the Minmis would spend a lot of their time grazing the grass. Also guys, I'm sure you guys know this already if you're a builder, but just add foliage to your rocks. It honestly, it changes it. Like having a rock, it looks so plain. Like especially the temperate rocks, they look just so plain. But I'm trying to keep everything natural, so I'm gonna use them. But I really like foliage, and if you just put the ones down you like, it doesn't matter if they don't go together. Just put them down what you like and what you think looks nice together. Like here, I went with a lot of green to make it look natural. And finally, the first dinosaurs of the Wildlands. Always so satisfying watching a dinosaur explore the enclosure you just spent hours making. Here comes a Pistachosaurus as well. Beautiful little creature. Once the dinosaur was settled, I went back and added a final few touches. Little things like extra rocks, flowers, and patches of grass don't take too long to build, but I think they make a huge difference with the end result. I also finished the Minmi Meadows sign, which I think ties the whole park together really nicely. Anyways, this took me a while to do, and I use mods such as the I don't know what it's called now. It's called like the scaling mod, so you can scale it smaller or scale it bigger. Just because I like putting words, I like making words. I think it looks a lot nicer when you make a lot of words. So I try to make as many words as possible when I'm building. Here I was trying to build Minmi Meadows home to the Minmi and Pistachosaurus, but it's just too many. That is too many words. So I left that one. But I'm really happy with how the sign turned out. I'm also really happy how the Minmi Meadows turned out, and I think it's a great way to kick off the first dinosaur habitat here in the Wildlands. Next episode we'll be heading further along the woodland trail to begin work on our first predator enclosure, which you will get a teaser at the end for, and if you can work it out, I'll have a few your guesses in the comments. To begin, so if you're excited for that, make sure you stick around. Sorry, I got scared by the music change. And the final thing, I am taking name suggestions for the Minmi and Pistachosaurus, so send them in the comments if you have any ideas. Or if you have any great ideas for the park in the future, don't be scared to send them. I'm always open to ideas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.